COVID-19 has changed our businesses, communities, industries, and the world in a way we couldn't have imagined. While the financial services have been at the forefront of the digital transformation, the new normal has made it look like beyond a customer-facing digital layers and develop overall capabilities that are integrated across every aspect of sector. So to talk about reimagining financial services in the new normal, we are joined by Shamla Naidu, Vice President and Managing Partner, Global Security Service, IBM.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shamla Naidu. I'm a Managing Partner in IBM Security. I am also the former Global CISO for IBM. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how you reimagine financial services in this new normal and how to think about security in that strategy. So a couple things are happening. The world is changing. The world is changing pretty significantly. Consumers are demanding more and more capability, and businesses have to respond. As we increase our capability, as we build new services, as we build new products, which our customers are demanding, we are going to use more technology. As we use more technology, we have to get really smart about how we're going to secure that technology. So if you just think about what modern companies are doing, they are refactoring their applications. They are building new applications that will serve their consumers, applications that will allow consumers to transact business from anywhere at any time, using mobile devices, using all kinds of modern technology. And that's great because that allows for business growth. Today, we're seeing enormous amounts of data that are being created. Data is doubling almost every 2 years. And all of that data gives us business insights. The way we can extract those insights is by using things like artificial intelligence, like analytics, being able to look through large volumes of data to look for that needle in the haystack that's going to help you to serve your customer better. And so as we think about data, it has become a very, very valuable resource and one that must be shared through the organization so that you make the best decisions from the data. But that won't happen without sophisticated technology. The other big change we're seeing is that most companies are driving their workloads to the cloud. Sometimes hybrid cloud, sometimes public cloud. But frankly, in financial services, we are seeing that there's this huge transformation effort of driving workloads to the cloud. What does that really mean? We're looking for modern architecture. You're looking for ways to build new applications on that architecture to serve your customers. You're looking for ways to build on this modern architecture capabilities that you haven't seen before, capabilities that your customers could benefit from, but most importantly, capabilities that will help your business to grow, to define new opportunities, as well as gain more market share and be competitive. And consumers are demanding that. What's really interesting, though, is with all of this opportunity for growth, all of this opportunity for additional revenue, additional opportunity to serve customers better, there is one non-negotiable point in all of this. As you increase your digital footprint, as you add more technology, as you add more innovation, the one that's not negotiable is cybersecurity. We still have to protect all of this technology. What we hear from our financial services sector clients are a number of things, but just a couple to focus on is regulations. The regulators are starting to get more and more stringent. More and more regulations are being imposed on financial services. And you can understand why, because, there has to be some measure of discipline in the environments, given how fast technology is growing and how fast we're adopting it. Well, as regulations keep coming up, we have to be prepared for and we have to handle the response with speed. Compliance is not negotiable. And as public clouds are becoming more acceptable for financial services capabilities, the regulations are going to increase. For hybrid cloud, the same thing. What you had on premise in your data center, plus now what you have in the cloud, combine that and regulations are just going to consume financial services. We also have to make sure that as we drive our workloads to the cloud, that we are meeting new security standards. Because remember that this is a new type of technology. This is the new way for building capability. And so new standards, we have to figure out how to adopt frameworks that help us to stay disciplined, to stay consistent, and to get reliable results out of all of this innovation. And as we move our workloads to the cloud, we need to be able to meet these new standards. There are more threats. There's no question about that. I think that's very common knowledge. There are more threats. And in the financial services sector, the threats are even greater because you don't just deal with disruption, you actually lose money when you have such incidents. So being prepared for responding to those incidents, identifying them, responding rapidly, responding completely is a really important part of the challenges that you face. But given that you have those challenges, being proactive about it actually helps to deal with the aftermath of a big cybersecurity incident. You have to also think about how we integrate risk and compliance and security analytics. There is so much data that is being generated from all of these different devices, from all of this different technology. We have data that lives in the cloud. We have systems that live on premise. We have systems that live underneath people's desks. We have to be able to take all of that data and make sense out of it in order to get value from it. And so this integration of risk and compliance and analytics that the data can inform becomes even more important as we drive, this new innovation and in this new world. Now, let's talk a little bit about strategy. So what should we do? Because we talked about the world that's changing. We talked about the challenges that we're facing. What can we actually do to adopt a modern approach to security? We think about it in 4 different ways. You've got a lot of components to this ecosystem. So how are we going to make sense of it all, and how are we going to stay organized to actually protect all of this? So the first item, I think, is to align. And what we mean by that is align your business goals with your security goals and make sure that they are converging, that they're not running in parallel. Security exists for the purpose of making sure our businesses are successful. So make sure that your C-suite have been clear on what kind of business outcomes they are trying to drive, and that security leaders can then help to align to those business outcomes. The other area of the security strategy that's really important is how do we protect the environment? We have to be proactive. We have to build capability that protects all of this digital footprint, the digital assets, whether that be people, processes, systems, data, cloud workloads, cloud infrastructure, on-premise data centers. We have to make sure that all of those aspects of our technology footprint have the appropriate and proactive protection. The idea is for us to reduce the opportunity for harm as much as we possibly can. And then we know that we may not be able to solve and protect every single piece of technology every single time. We know that there'll be failure. So there has to be a strategy of how do we manage the defenses and manage the growing threats that face our businesses every day. So we have to be proactive about detecting what bad things might be happening in the environment and how will we prevent that? How will we become more proactive, and how will we actually manage all of those threats given how quickly they're happening, given the volume, etc. So managing the threats is really important, but I think recognizing the volume of threats, the complexity of the threats are as important in terms of prioritizing how we might react and respond to those. And then, of course, modernizing our security. There's no question that we have never before had as much innovation as we have today. And as we innovate and grow our businesses, as we adopt new technology to grow our businesses and our business capabilities, we should also be embracing all that innovation to help to modernize our security programs. And that means everything from adopting the artificial intelligence programs for data analytics, using that for security to inform our position on where the threats are, where the threats are happening, where the attacks, how seriously are they happening? Where's the damage? How should we assess and quantify that damage, etc.? So modernizing our approach to security is as important as modernizing and transforming our businesses. If we just think about data today, as I said earlier, data is being created in a very, very rapid way. But that data has all kinds of useful business insights that are embedded in it. And while we want to extract those business insights for the purpose of growing our businesses, we also want to make sure that we're protecting it. Because while we get valuable insights out of the data, we have attackers and we have adversaries out there that are looking to get that data. They're looking to steal it. They're looking to get insights from it. They're looking to monetize that data. So we have to protect that data so that we can reserve those business insights for our benefit. Now, a number of things are happening in the area of data, and we know we have to protect them. But data protection goes way beyond just encryption. For a time, we'd encrypt the data and we would assume that everything was safe and we were good. Well, now we have not just data that lives on our data center or on our systems or on our servers, but our data is all over. Data is in your pocket on your mobile device. Data is in your car on your laptop. Data is in the cloud with providers. Data is with third parties in different countries, sometimes in different industries, sometimes with specialists that are outside of your reach. So we've got data that exists everywhere. We've got data on many different systems. They come in different formats. They come in different sizes and shapes. But wherever they exist, we have to have ways to identify them. We have to have ways to detect and scan for and find and discover that data. We have to then look for ways to protect that data proactively, whether that's, doing encryption and doing masking and doing, all kinds of other tokenizations and access control, etc. But we also have to monitor that data to make sure that if someone touches it, if an adversary touches it, if someone attempts to steal it, if someone attempts to change it and interfere with the integrity of the data, that we would get alerts, we would get alarms, and we could react pretty quickly. So the goal here is for us to treat data like the useful asset it is. We need to do this, all of these steps. We've done it for decades. We've done it on networks. We've done it for devices. Now we have to shift that focus and do this for data. So having visibility to the data, having visibility into all the actions to the data is really useful. And if you ask your CISO, the way I think about this is like having a SOC for your data. Everything we do for our network, everything we do for our devices, everything we do for our technical workloads, we should also do for our data. And there are good ways to do it. And now there's even big benefits to doing it, because then we reserve the right to extract insights from that data and benefit our companies. So data protection is a big topic. Let's talk a little bit about some client cases. So I'm just going to call out two cases here that, I am aware of. One is a large global bank. And if you look at vulnerabilities, and we talk about vulnerabilities and vulnerabilities being exploited very, very often, what we want to do here is talk about the volume. Right? Every company is facing huge vulnerability challenges, not because we don't fix our vulnerabilities, but because there is so much noise in the system. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of analysis that needs to happen before you can actually take action to go fix the vulnerability. So what we have actually helped a customer to do is to try to get out from the mountain of vulnerabilities, to deal with the volume by analyzing the impact of the vulnerabilities, understanding the impact of a vulnerability that might get exploited, and then helping our customer to prioritize them in the right order so that we've got good, safe systems, and then we remove the noise and not get distracted by, things that may not cause harm. And our vulnerability team is just phenomenal. They're a bunch of hackers, the previous hackers who can actually look at a vulnerability and give great insights into that. We create automation out of this. And what we found with this customer is that 60% of their critical vulnerabilities was reduced, a 60% reduction in just 4 months. And that's important, because it's not just that the vulnerability was just disappeared. And it wasn't just that the vulnerability was addressed, it's the 60% of reduction in critical vulnerabilities that we had miscategorized, or that the customer has miscategorized and didn't take the appropriate action, or took too much action. And so we get a lot of really great results from doing that analysis. And that reduction in total vulnerabilities that this customer saw at 45% was phenomenal. Again, like I said, it's because they implemented a solution that helped them to automatically prioritize, automatically analyze, and actually bring the things that were important up to the top so it could get the biggest attention and the most urgent attention. So really great results out of that vulnerability management program. It's not just about scanning and getting the vulnerabilities and knowing that it's there, but it's about getting valuable intelligence. Knowing and understanding more about the vulnerability actually helps you to right-size your action and the priority that needs to be given to that action. The second, I want to talk about customer cases. An insurance company located in New York was faced with new regulations. What was interesting about this is that the regulation came up, the customer was not prepared. They had exactly 6 months to the enforcement date to select a security incident and event management tool, to implement it, and to get reports and results that they could actually demonstrate that they were in compliance with the New York regulation. Well, we helped them to do all of that, and they were able to get the results they needed to demonstrate their compliance. And what was really interesting about it, it wasn't just the process. They got real business value out of putting in such a solution. Not just compliance value, they got real business value, where this solution gave them great results. The results were really them supporting almost 5,000, if not more than 5,000 devices. And every month they continue to add more devices into the solution, getting more visibility, getting more insights, and being able to react and respond much more quickly than they could before. And then, of course, they also got the compliance benefit, which was showing the regulator that they met the regulations, that they put in the right solutions, that it was working and it was operating effectively. But more importantly, they got great business value out of this, and they continue to get business value out of the solution. So, with that, I think I just want to close by saying this topic is really important. When you have the right partner, when you have the right technology, and you partner your people with your technology, your business partners, you can get great outcomes. And if you manage your cybersecurity properly, you can lean into the business growth. You can embrace innovation. You can go faster at building applications, building capabilities, etc., because you can manage the threat that actually comes as a result of cybersecurity. And so with that, I thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for adding that color to the conversation. The conclave will deliberate on finding insights and in-depth look at the changing dynamics of the world. So do check out our resource center and expo area for networking opportunities. Stay with us.